Hello, fabulous people. This is the Together podcast, and this is the place where Cherise and I come together to help you get it together for your everyday business life. So we hope you enjoy.
Cherise, we live and we recording. Good morning. Good morning, Q. Hey. All right. So today is Tuesday and it is June the 3rd. Like, oh my God. That means we are in the last month of the second quarter. So we really about to hit the tip top and then downhill for the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. So we got to get it in gear, people. But I also want y'all enjoying your summertime because it's hot Atlanta summer. And today, y'all are with us. This is the Together podcast where Cherise and I come together to help you get it together. That is what it is.
Yes.
So Cherise, how are you doing today?
I am doing amazing. Excited to be here and talk about our topic for the day. Summertime is coming along well. Although it's been like a whirlwind, it's coming along. And I'm excited to go into the summer and act like, there's going to be a real summer and vacation.
Oh,
I don't have anything. I have nothing planned, but I just feel like it's going to be a good summer, like a vacation type summer.
Okay. From your lips to God's ears, let's manifest something. So, all right.
Yes.
I feel like I'm gonna be working all summer long. I just started a new coaching program. Nice. I'm so excited about it. So you guys will probably start to hear new things come out of my mouth. So I'm really excited.
Okay.
And then some things they say that I already know, they just say it differently. So one of the things that I have always heard is the slower you go, the faster you get there. The slower you go, the faster you get there.
Yep.
Really talking about foundations in, and it feels like you're not moving forward, but you are because you're laying the foundation. Yeah. So slow. Yes. They say slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I was like, okay, I can get that. And so, anyway, I'm really love it. Cherise, I almost called you.
You did? Why didn't you?
It's the most expensive program I ever paid for. And so I was like, okay, let me get Cherise, let me call her, let me get her opinion. Since that wants you to hold my hand. And then I was like, okay, no, you got to get quiet and make this decision yourself. I did. So I got quiet and I made the decision. And already I'm liking the extra layer of accountability. And so it's making me move forward. And so, and I'm meeting new people. And so networking with new people. And it's always nice to hear or see and hear, because you can kind of get in a silo, especially as a therapist. You just seeing your clients and come back home. Yeah. And you see people on social media a little distant. You know what I'm saying? Like they're other. So in the last
yes, exactly.
I feel like week, I have been in conversation with so many people who are really, getting their speaking career going and up, and that's been amazing. And so because I knew I needed to do more speaking to promote maritalpreneurs. So it's kind of been on my mind, and I joined Toastmasters. But over the last week, talked to all these females. Oh, I'm going out of town for speaking. Oh, I just got back in from town from speaking. One of my girls, if everything works out right, she may be speaking on stage at the Essence Festival. So it's just like, wow.
Ooh, good for her.
Okay, y'all
for her.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to up level my game. Yeah. Okay, I can't be around here doing nothing and y'all doing these amazing things. So I want to just encourage
that's such a great space for you too.
It is. I'm excited. So, but I want to encourage anybody out there who's thinking about doing a program, to go ahead and do it, because if nothing else, it puts you in a different space with different people. And it'll make you up-level your game, or at least think about up-leveling your game. So that's it. So, okay.
Yeah.
Our topic for today is the legacy mindset, building wealth and wisdom for the next generation. Now, this is actually very dear to my heart. And I'm actually scared I'm going to wind up crying in the podcast today. So hopefully I won't. And so maybe I'll mute myself if we do, because I do want to be very open and transparent. Because I went through a lot with building legacy when I kind of was essentially out of childbearing years and I didn't have any children and I'm not married. And so it's like, build legacy for what? And so there was definitely a time period in there where I was like, I don't know why I'm doing any of this. Like I could, you know, I could be a homeless person under the bridge, you know, somebody living a good life. And I'm not, but my feelings were that extreme. So I got to be honest, my feelings were that extreme. Like, what is all of this for? If I don't have anybody to leave it to, like, why am I, you know, doing this? What's the point of living one day longer, or 2 days longer, or 2 years longer, or sign? And so, that is what came up for me, and I worked through that, and definitely we'll continue to talk about, okay, what it took me to work through that and everything. But I feel like I've been talking nonstop. So. All right.
No,
so
you're good.
I want to give the floor to Cherise with her thoughts, and then I'm just going to let you take it before I jump back in with, you know, me working through that and what decisions I decided to make. And
Okay, so of course, you know, we are in similar positions. You know, I don't have any children of my own either. And you know, I had considered having children later, didn't work out. So still at 53, no children of my own, right? So there are days when I feel the exact same way. And it's like, what is this for? And what am I doing? And what is my significance? Like, I'm just everybody's auntie. I'm just everybody's good friend. I'm just everybody's, you know, sweet friend. And you're such a good person. And you're so sweet. And okay, but who am I for real? You know, and as of recent, it has been even worse, I believe, because, you know, like you're saying, okay, finally, my mind has shifted into this space where I can really see myself building and growing and, you know, building a serious business, you know, building real wealth and something that can be passed on. And who am I going to pass it on to? But one thing I realized that has been coming to light for me is the order, the execution, you know, and the organization. Because if you have things in order as they should be, Natalie, whoever you want to benefit can benefit. If it is the nieces, the nephews, the godchildren, let it be so. But at least someone will benefit from the life that you lived, you know? And we can't measure it. Like life set this up for us to measure success as, oh, you got to have children. Oh, you got to get married. Oh, you got to do this, that, and the other, have the degrees and all these things. But I think for many of us who have been through so many different walks in life. You know, I have good friends who have lost children. One of my closest friends lost both of her children. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, honey, she lost both of her sons. Yes, she did, violently. And her only 2 children at a young age. She was in her 30s when it happened.
Lord Jesus.
So I'm like, oh, Lord, would I have wanted to go through that? Would I have wanted to walk around the world so concerned about these humans? And yeah, I could have done a really great job. I know, like I would have been an amazing parent, right? But it's like, woo-hoo-hoo-wee. How could I be walking this earth having dealt with that? You know what I'm saying? So everyone has, you know, some hurts and some pains and some situations. If I coulda, woulda, shoulda situations, you know. So it's like I feel like where I am now, I feel like I'm in a really great space in life, and I'm going to make the very best of where I am in life, and I'm not going to, you know, let marriage or children or any of these things validate me in order for me to have to create a legacy. You know what I mean? Like, no, I am a legacy. Like, I am a legacy, and someone on this earth is going to benefit from me being who I am. And it doesn't matter if it's my child that I birthed or not, somebody is going to benefit.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
And it's a daily struggle. It is a daily struggle, because even when it comes to relationships, like how to choose right. How to choose so that I can feel validated in a relationship as I move along without children. Maybe they have had children, maybe they have not. Maybe they've been through certain things that I need to, kind of walk them through with, It's just, girl, it's a trip out here, but you are not alone. You are not alone, trust me.
Yeah.
It's a deep one, and it can get very emotional.
It can be. And I think for me, it definitely was. So I think I walked through like grieving childbearing. Like, man, I'm leaving that. And then being open to it coming some other type of way. And it's I feel like I want to say grieving childbearing and grieving a dream, and then learning how to adopt another dream, was all part of the process. And I don't even know if I'm 100% through it. So it's like one of those things is some days I'm good and I'm great and I understand it. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Yeah. I have all of these ideas for how to build legacy, and what does that look like for me? And what does legacy mean for me? And then, and some days I'm like, no. So one of the things that's coming up, has been coming up is, they're like, you want to plan the next family reunion? No, I do not. Like that's not gonna work for me right now, where I'm at emotionally. I think maybe when I land, like right now I have ideas for legacy. Like, what do I want my legacy to be? I have ideas. So one of the things I would like to do is set up some type of fund where all of the nieces and nephews get some money toward a down payment on their homes. Because I've noticed in other cultures that the parents are able to, or the family or grandparents are able to really support with that down payment on that first property, which really helps. It's like that kind of 1% difference. Okay, so we're in the same neighborhood, but because your parents gave you $100,000 to put down on your house, and I had to come up with 3% to put down on my house, the way we live day to day is completely different. So I'm strapped, and you got the extra money to put your kids in the after school coding program. And so little things like that, so I think that'll be it. So practically, because I always like to make sure y'all have something practical to take away with, if you don't have children, or if you don't know what you want your legacy to be, and maybe you have a little grief around it, a little hurt around it, I'm going to challenge you to sit down and write a list of 20 ways in which you could leave a legacy, which you could build a legacy. Like, and what would you want that to be? What do you want to be known for? And if you feel like, okay, that's too hard of a thing to think about, an idea to think about, then let's go old school therapy, is sit down and write your eulogy. What do you want people to say about the life that you have lived? And then think about, what do you want to leave behind and who do you want to leave it to? So even though people specifically like me and Cherise who don't have any children, there are people who were impacted by our lives, and so is that impact thus far enough? Does it have to be something that outlives us, or is what we're doing now and leaving a great memory? And really sit down and think about that. I know a particular guy on YouTube was saying, I just love the spirit of the guy. He has a YouTube channel called, I think, One Rental at a Time. So really popular guy. And he was saying he wants to build something that outlives him by 50 years. Like, wow. Okay. That's so specific. And so, but I love that he sat down and thought about that. And I think a lot of people haven't. And so really sit down and think about, okay, what does legacy mean to me, for me? Does it mean something outliving me or not? What does it require to bring that about? How would that look? Could it be as simple as you funding a college fund for somebody? And it may not necessarily need to be college. It could be, a tech school or a particular degree program, or whatever. Like, what would you like? What would you like that to be? Is that something that you can go ahead and set up in a trust? Like, what are things that you can do? And I think there are a lot of things that you can do. And if you can't, put it in ChatGPT. Y'all know I'm all about ChatGPT, to really sit down and brainstorm. Okay, what legacy do I want to leave? What are the possibilities? What are all of the different ways? And so I was just listening to Bill Gates the other day, randomly on TV. I don't know how I got to him, but he was saying that he's doubling his contributions. So I think his goal was to give away $100 billion, and now he's giving away $200 billion. But specifically, he was talking about vaccines, like getting vaccines to parts of the world that really need them, and like really basic vaccines, like I can't even think of a basic vaccine now, but like, what kind of, anyway, basic vaccines. And so maybe is that a legacy you want to leave? You want to make sure a random clinic in a random country always has access to a particular vaccine. And so there's so many options out there. Or what a friend and I, we were talking about the parking at hospitals, how like, you just heard your loved one is in the hospital. You got to rush to the hospital, and you caught up with the paying for parking. Like, it's so crazy. And so we're thinking about how specifically for CHOA, maybe we can leave something or do something so that parents don't have to pay for parking when they come in to see their kid in the hospital. Like, that's the last thing. And so there's so many little ways to leave legacy, to create legacy. And I want to challenge you guys to do it. And I also want to say, for those of you guys, Cherise, I don't have a definition. Okay, yeah, Cherise just texted me, can I give a definition of legacy? And I never thought about defining the word. Okay, can you define it?
No, that's why I asked Q. Q's on here, right? Is she on here?
Yeah, Q's on here. Okay, you want her to do it? Q, would you look online and find us the definition for legacy and pop it in the chat?
That's good, though. I thought I hit Q. It said, A, can you give us the definition? I'm sorry, Q, I was talking to you. I didn't mean A. I thought I hit Q, but I'm on my phone. But this brings up such a great topic, I think, and this is why I wanted her to bring up the definition of legacy, because I think you just brought some clarity and some relatability to the word legacy and what it is. I think we think so grandiose when we think legacy. We think, oh, we got to be giving away billions in college funds and, just all this. So let's say long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc., that took place in the past or of a person's life. So I think it's important that exactly what you said, long-lasting impact of particular events and actions. Let's just stop there, right? Instead of thinking, oh, you have to be Martin Luther King, right? Oh, you have to be Coretta. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you said, parking at a hospital for people in an emergency situation. It's so many legacies that you can leave. So let's remember, it's a long-lasting impact that you can leave. A long-lasting impact that you can leave, of an event and actions, right? That right there is a breakthrough, I think, for a lot of us, because I think we have is legacy. The word legacy, I think, was too heavy for us. I think it's like the word wealth. Yeah. When people think wealth, they think you got to be a billionaire to be wealthy. They think you got to be, multimillionaire to be wealthy. And there's so much more to being wealthy, So that is good. I'm still processing, but that is really good. Thank you so much, Q, because that right there, that brought it out in for me. So we've already left multiple legacies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've
Mm-hmm.
left long-lasting impact in many
Mm-hmm.
places in our
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Definitely
And
so.
now I think that we're having a conversation that we're having. I think we can look at it totally different and say, let me really define where I want to leave a legacy in my
Yeah.
family, in my
Yeah.
business, in my community, amongst
Mm-hmm.
my friends,
Mm-hmm.
So we've
Mm-hmm.
already done it. So how do I continue it?
That's really,
That's
really
good stuff.
good. Okay, so I'm
I
gonna
love
take
it.
that because what's coming to mind about that for me is I cannot remember this guy's name. I just happened upon it. But he was saying how he had gotten to the point in his life where he realized that he had built his company on his name, and that in leaving a legacy for it to really live on past him, he needed to change everything around and build it on its own name. And so he was in the process of transitioning everything from his name to a different new company name so that the company could live on without him. I think that's important. And also, I'm watching the TV show Yellowstone right now. So
Oh my
I love this.
gosh.
I love
That's
this.
some good stuff right there.
Right?
Oh my
All
goodness,
right.
that's good.
But okay, in Yellowstone, Kevin Costner's, I think his name is John Dutton. But the whole TV show is really about him trying to figure out his legacy and like, what are we going to, how do we protect the land, and then how I'm
How
going
to
to pass it on,
protect
and
the
who am I going to pass it
legacy.
on
Yeah.
to? And in one particular season, I hope this is not a spoiler for you guys, but he actually writes a letter to the like main ranch hand around there, Trip. And he said to him, I was trying to essentially something to the fact of, you were the son that, like, you were my God-given son. I was trying to do all the stuff with like my natural born kids that I can't get them to do. And you right here, you've been my son. And
Yes.
so I thought that's just such a wonderful thing. The point that I'm trying to make is your legacy may not wind up like you originally thought. So I want you to be open to change of how this legacy is actually going to play out. So with John Dutton, he realized, okay, this isn't going to play out with my kids like I thought. They have different strengths, different talents. That's happening to a lot of baby boomers right now. So a lot of baby boomers who have these more labor-intensive businesses, like a garbage business or like
a cleaning company.
Their kids aren't wanting to take those businesses over because they're so labor-intensive. And so to my baby boomers who may be listening to us, thinking about getting creative as to who can take this and letting go that original dream of legacy that you had, maybe in that. And you may have to revamp the whole company like this particular guy did. He had like calendars or something. I can't remember. But he had to kind of revamp the whole company, all of the branding and everything on a new name and not his name, so the company could live on past him. So thinking about that. So I'm going to challenge everybody, as you build your business, as you continue to build your business, sit down and think about what's your exit plan. And so is this a business that you're building you will want to sell, or this is a business that you want to die with you, And once you kind of make that decision, your exit plan, how do you plan to exit? Then you can make some different decisions about how you need to operate today, And so you may have to go through a whole brand new, like, oh yeah, I ain't never thought about how I was going to get out of this thing. Like, am I still trying to be going to the office at 90, and who will I pass it off to? And I think that's going to make some hiring decisions that'll give you clarity around some hiring decisions. What are you hiring for? And what does that need to look like? And just how you set everything up. And so I think anybody, okay, not every, we all need to have our businesses set up to and I got to put it out there, if we were in a car accident or something happened to us tomorrow, that our business and our income, especially the income, can keep coming in without us. And so I think that's a huge part of legacy. and thinking about, okay, what happens if for whatever reason I became incapacitated or I just needed to take a sabbatical?
Yep.
How can this thing be making money without me? And then what do I want the end to be? So I think those are two huge questions. And I know a lot of people haven't thought about it. And those of us, me, who thought about it, I don't know if I've really put anything in place yet, but it's been looming over my head or something like, we need to get that taken care of now. Because right now, Lord Jesus, Heavenly Father, I hate to say this out loud, but it's the truth, is if something happened to me today, I don't know who would be able to figure out my finances and where the money coming from and all that. Like
especially as the single person. Especially as a single person who this isn't, because that's a part of marriage legacy, right? First of all, let me stop there. And let me go backwards a little bit because it just downloaded to me. Your legacy could be how you made people feel. Your legacy could be that, that was the lady at Walmart that every time she came in Walmart, she remembered my name. She remembered who I was. You know, I had a client who became a really good friend. She was a little bit older than me, but I didn't even realize how close we were in age because she was just such a nurturing, mothering spirit. But she ended up having MS, and I saw her when she was perfectly fine. And then when the MS started to take over, so I would go to the nursing home and I would do her hair for her and talk to her. And I tell you, that lady's brain was so impeccable. Okay. Like she remembered everything I said, anybody's name I mentioned, she remembered. Okay. And she couldn't move her whole entire body. She could not move it. Wow. And for me, I will always remember her, how she said my name and how she would go down the list. How is such and such? And how is such and such? And how's your sister? And how's your brother? And how's your, like that was her legacy, Mrs. Chambly, Neva Chambly. And that to me is just downloading to me. That is her legacy. So it's like, I want to be a lot more intentional about how I make people feel when they encounter me. That's big for me anyway, in business and personal. But it's like, I know that I want that to be a big piece of my legacy.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So to add to, like that's one of the reasons why marriage is important. Marriage is important for accountability, right? Ooh. But if you're not married, who's going to be accountable? You have to assign someone to be accountable for you. Yeah. Even if it's your children, your siblings, like that's something I had to think about. I had to call my brothers and sisters to let them know, like, hey, we need to get serious about what if something happens? Like we have been so blessed that nothing has happened in our family, since we had so many losses back to back to back, like we haven't had any, but it's like, what do we do if something happens to us? Like who's going to make sure? So even my 30-year-old niece, right? I'm like, hey, you're going to have to step up. You don't have any children, right? You're going to have to step up and take care of me if something happens to me. You're the one. I just need you to understand what that looks like. Yeah. And also, that you're the one that's going to get all my money. You're going to be responsible. You are the beneficiary. So I need you to woman up. I need you to become a grown woman so you know what to do. In my will and in my trust, this is what it looks like. You're the one that's on it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And you need to know what to do with the other nieces and nephews. You're in charge. So those are the decisions that we have to make. I've been talking to a group of girlfriends for a while about we need to just have a big party, and make sure that we have these things in order, like someone there who can just kind of walk us through the processes and make sure that we have things in order. We can make a day of it.
You're right. We do. Actually, I was thinking about that same thing. That.
We need to do it. We need to hold accountability for that. We got to do it.
We do need to
It
do
has
it.
to be done.
Because I know so many people that like if something happened to them tomorrow, I don't think anybody would know the bank accounts. Like,
No.
honest to God, I don't even know if I know all my bank accounts. Like
No.
every now and then I'd be like, oh shoot, I got money over here.
Right.
It might
Exactly.
only be $2, but I don't completely
But
forgot
I got
about the
an account somewhere.
right? All right.
Yeah, real
So
talk.
yeah, we'll figure that out. Okay. But y'all who's listening to us on the sound of our voice, don't wait for Cherise and I to figure it out. If you are hearing this message, you are hearing it for a reason. We're having this conversation for a reason. Go ahead and start putting some stuff together. If nothing else, put all your accounts on an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, whatever you use, like that. And go ahead and at least have one person in your life who has the password to that spreadsheet. So if something happens, things can be taken care of for you. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot to think about. This is real adulting. This is adulting. This is adulting.
Heavier.
Yes.
It is heavier than we thought, right? Yeah.
And you said
but
trust and
real,
will.
But
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm good. I remember.
Just want to remind everybody or let you know, getting a trust completed and a will completed is not as expensive as you're making it out to be probably in your head. I know I originally thought like, oh shoot, who got thousands of dollars to spend on getting that trust together? It actually, I think, because you can get a trust together for about $500. And I just saw a will company online the other day, and they were advertising that you can get a will done for $200. And so, at the very
but it's
least,
so important that you know the difference.
Please, please. So yeah, we probably really do need to have a seminar or something on that.
We do. Let's accountability Q. Hold us accountable Q.
Yeah.
Send us an email or something and make us put dates together.
Right. So you want to do something in the fall, maybe?
We need. Well, y'all. I struggle with y'all organized people talking about the fall. I'm like, we need to do this next month. But hey, let's put fall on the calendar so it can happen.
Okay. All right, we can meet you halfway. We can meet you halfway. Probably in the summer, September. That gives us a month to get ready, and then and then 2 months to advertise.
Okay,
so,
that sounds good.
We'll do it. We'll call it Living in Legacy or something like that, and find somebody and talk to us about trust and wills and how to set your finances up as an entrepreneur for if something happens to you. We'll probably also need somebody to talk to us about insurance, specifically disability insurance.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of you guys do not have disability insurance, and you need to have disability insurance. So if you become incapacitated, disabled, and disability insurance is an insurance that will pay you if you become disabled, period. All right. It is good to have specifically when you are the main earner for your income. So if you become incapacitated and you can no longer earn, the disability will kick in and pay. All right. So it behooves you to get a policy sooner rather than later. And the policy is going to be cheaper, the less likely you are to be like injured on the job. So like if you are like a demolitions expert, your disability insurance is going to be very expensive. Probably a talk therapist is probably not going to be that expensive. It's going to take a lot for us to be incapacitated. And then you want to just kind of keep good records of your income. And so that if something happened, you can prove your income. And I know a lot of y'all cannot do that. So me included. Somebody asked me to prove my income because they actually did a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I don't know. I have not filed my taxes yet. I cannot tell you what I made. And so, yeah. So to that other person out there in the world who has not filed their taxes yet, I know we got into October, but let's not wait till the last minute. We need to get it together. So if something happened, we can prove our income.
Let's take a moment of silence and prayer for our entrepreneurs who haven't filed their taxes. Lord, cover us, keep us covered, protect us, and just give us the wisdom that we need to move forward. And this tax is passed.
Yes, yes, Lord. Hallelujah. Glory to your name in Jesus' name we
Amen.
pray. Yes. So I'm getting it together now. But I will say
Yes,
randomly,
for
I do
sure.
this thing where, okay, a big project is coming, and so I need to get it all together. So I get my finances all together for whatever I need.
Yeah.
And then I kind of let them fall apart again. And then,
Yep.
and so I will say though,
Yeah.
because the projects are coming faster and faster or closer and closer together, then it's not so
Yeah.
much of a falling apart but I'm still like falling apart. So I
Yeah.
will need
Yeah.
to, and I'm just saying this for transparency, because I don't ever want y'all to think that Cherise and I completely have it together and that we're looking down on
No.
you. Oh, please, we don't ever, ever,
Never.
ever
Never.
want you to think that.
Yes.
We are out here
Yeah.
struggling and trying to make it happen just like you. And
Yeah.
being in business is not for the faint of heart. And I don't know anybody who got it completely all together. I really don't in business because there's so many
No.
parts to
No.
business to
Mm-mm.
have together. And so it feels like, okay, I'm
Exactly.
juggling these balls over here and I finally got them together. Oh, shoot, I got a whole thing over here that got to be, clean and messed up. And
Right.
so whether it's the systems or the
Right.
finances or the bank accounts or the credit card, like, or employee management, employee onboarding. Oh shoot, I forgot I could be selling this whole thing, and the sales process fell apart on that. And
Right.
so it's
Exactly.
so much. It's so much. So
Yeah.
have compassion with yourself. Have
Uh-huh.
compassion for
Mm-hmm.
yourself. There is no I arrived. There's no I arrived. There is I'm doing a
No.
little bit better than I used to be. We finally got this working right.
Yeah.
Now I got to work on this. And like that's about it. And so relax into that as an entrepreneur. You it's like
Yeah.
coming to the understanding that you're not going to get everything done on the things to do list,
Right.
that you have to pick and choose, that you're probably not going to be to do everything that you dreamed of.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's only 24 hours in a day. We want you to sleep some of them and eat some of those hours and spend time with other people. And so we
Right.
want you
Right.
enjoying your life. And so I encourage you guys to really think about, okay, what are my top priorities? What's important to me? Narrow down that focus, because as I'm talking, I remember
Yeah.
I was reading something and it was saying like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and maybe Bill Gates' dad were in a conversation. Starbucks guy. The Starbucks guy was there too. And they were saying the number one thing that has attributed to their success was just focus, being able to focus. And so narrowing down the focus. And in this new coaching program that I'm in, that's what they've been asking us to do. Like narrow down your focus. Just focus on this. Just focus on this. Just focus on this. And they even was just like, you can unsubscribe from some things. And I was like, what? Unsubscribe? But what if I need these people? What if I need this new program? What if I need? And so that's been just to saying it out loud. I was like, oh, say they so. Like you want me to just depend on like you for a source of information? Like I don't even know if that's healthy. So just being extreme with it. Okay. All right, deep breath. I feel like we've talked about a lot all over the place, but I also felt like it was really good information.
It was so good.
Yeah. So I think
the accountability about legacy.
Yeah. I think with this conversation, what I want you guys to do as listeners is to find the one thing that you can take away and start doing. So the one thing might be defining what legacy is for you. The one thing might be sitting down and changing your idea of legacy because it's no longer fitting. Your original dream is no longer fitting. The one thing might be to get all your accounts in one place so somebody could figure out something if they had to on your behalf. The one thing might be letting some things go so you can focus and get more clear. Whatever the one thing is in that conversation, it might be talking to that niece, that nephew of like, hey, you're going to be the one for me. And identifying that and figuring that out. So we talked about so much. So don't try to implement nowhere near everything that we talked about today. But if you could just identify one thing from our conversation today that you can go and do. That'll be great. And that's the same thing I really want you to do as an entrepreneur. So like, what's the one focus we're doing either this year or this quarter? Either this year or this quarter. What's the one focus? I feel like I've been trying to do a better job of that. I've gotten better over the years of like a focus per quarter. And so that's been really good. But even with that, I've also realized that sometimes, like for this year, I've really had to change my focus for quarter one was supposed to be, excuse me, maritalpreneurs. And then what I'm realizing is I'm gonna have to focus on maritalpreneurs for quarter two and probably quarter three to really get it up and going and producing like I want it. And so I'm having to let other stuff go. It's a little painful. Like it's a little painful. It's kind of like I feel like, you know, a leaf on a tree just a branch on a tree just getting hacked off so the other ones can grow with pruning. So, and that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And hopefully I can bring back those other programs later on in another year or something, but I'm in a pruning phase. And so if anybody out there is in a pruning phase, I feel your pain. It doesn't feel good to let go of some of these other things, but if we want to grow to where we know we can grow to the heights we know we can grow to, we got to be okay pruning. So another thing that I just heard in this new coaching program, so sorry, but I think is she was saying, we want to train you guys to go an inch wide and a mile deep. An inch wide and a mile deep. Mm-hmm. And I've really been sitting with that, like, man, what does that look like? Like, what does that look like? And so, like, which makes sense. It's really that mastery, right? It's really mastering something and making that one thing, you know, sell and produce and provide. And her particular message is like, it only takes one program to get you to millionaire status, or to bring in $1 million worth of income in a fiscal year. And so she was saying, so that's why she's saying, just do a inch wide and a mile deep, like inch. And so really sitting with that, because it is causing me to prune in a way that I'm like, mm-hmm. What do you mean? What do you mean I can't do this other thing? Because it was on my docket to be done and I could do everything all at the same time. And I had an accountability partner, and they looked at my schedule and everything that I wanted to do. And they was like, Natalie, you can't do all this. And I was like, what I want to do? You know what I mean? Are you getting it done? But I feel like if I can schedule everything, no, you can't. And so they were like, if you were my employee, there's no way I would have all of this stuff on your plate. Like, there's no way I would expect anybody to do. And it was like, well, I can do it. I know I can. And each project is important because it's going to help this person. Yeah. And I know we feel that like that as entrepreneurs. I know I'm not the only one to feel that way. And so I'm going to encourage you guys. Another thing, I feel like I keep giving y'all more information, but sit down with somebody else. And have them look at all of the projects and all of the things that you're trying to do, and start pruning. I think it's going to be really beneficial. But I think having that conversation with that partner sobered me up. I think because they were like, you cannot do all of this. Yes, I can. Okay, but you're not. And then you're feeling bad for failing, as opposed to just saying you can't do this and setting this to the side. And and so I will say, y'all, I didn't take anything off the list, but I put everything, I made conditions, you know, whereas, so like one particular thing, a particular workbook that I was working on, I was like, okay, the condition is I can't write this myself, but if I make enough money on maritalpreneurs, then I'll have a ghostwriter come in and finish it out. Cause I started it, but I want to finish it. And so I did kind of put conditions on everything, like if this, then that, if this, then that. And that was a little bit easier. That was like a spoonful of sugar, helping the medicine go down for me. It's still figuring out ways that it could be done. So it's almost kind of like going to Dan Sullivan's work. Yeah, Dan Sullivan's work. Who, not how. And so really thinking about all of the projects on the list. And all right, so if I can't do them, I mean, if I can't figure out how to do them, and my accountability partner is telling me I don't need to do all these projects, or even have them on my list to try to do, okay, well then who can do them? How can they still be done with somebody else and not me? And so that book is so good. Okay, we might have to read Dan Kennedy's book again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's put it on our accountability list and like just put a time limit on it.
Yeah, definitely so.
It's loud in my background. But yeah, let's do it. Q. That's another thing. There's 2 things on our list today.
Out of all the other things that we said.
Yes.
So yeah.
Repeat the second one.
All right. Let's say that again, Q.
I'm writing down some notes. Please repeat the second one.
We said we need to put on the list, read the book, Who, Not How. And maybe we'll do like a book club or something where we'll talk about it on air. Live.
Right.
Oh, shoot.
That might be kind of fun to do like a live Zoom and bring some other people in.
The thing was going. Cherise, I can't be 100% sure that I'm posting live to your page right now. I was thinking
it's fine.
I was working on something else. I'm sorry, but
it's fine.
Will you make sure you send her a link to the recording, this particular recording today, so she can put it on her page?
Okay, so I'll do that.
Okay. All right. Let's wind us down. Thank you guys for indulging us for a moment. Let's wind us down. All right. Cherise, takeaway points for today.
So my main number 1 takeaway is learn the definition of legacy and bring it in and make it relatable to you, because your legacy is not as unrelatable and grandiose as you think it is. You know, your legacy is the impact that you leave in life and on people, so from events to actions, the things that took place, in the past or in a person's life, you could leave a legacy on one person by the way you changed and shifted their life, know? So
all right, she broke out. If anybody can hear me, she went out, so hopefully she'll come back. So my thing we lost you for a second. So what's the last thing you said? What do you think?
Oh, I was saying, I think that we have been miseducated on what a legacy is.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to take time and look at the definition of it and then think about bring it back to self.
Yeah.
And what is my legacy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. My takeaway.
And what legacy do I want to leave?
Yeah, I think that's going to be my takeaway today. It's really sitting down and figuring out what legacy you want to leave and start working toward that. Just start working toward it. Just actively start working toward it. It's one of those, I think legacy is one of those things that fall into that be ready so you don't have to get ready. Like, let's just start moving toward that so it doesn't take you off guard. I'll say real talk. We all think we have more time than we do with everything. We all think we have more time than we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Specifically, when my brother passed away a couple of years ago, I thought I had more time with him than I did. And so when he passed, I was just so mad at the things that I didn't do with him, that I could have done with him. And so I'm going to ask you guys to start moving with intention and purpose on getting all of this stuff together so you can be ready, so you don't have to get ready. So if something happens that you feel like you're as prepared as you can be. Yeah. You went ahead and you did the work. And now is the time to do the work. When it's peaceful, when it's happy, when it's quiet, when it's, when we have a moment, now is the time to do the work. And so go ahead and whatever that may be. Also, you guys, there's a book that I got off Amazon and I can't see it on my shelf right now. And so, but there's a book on Amazon that will allow you to write all of your accounts down. It's a big spiral book. I think it's like one of those NOLO books. Like, and I'll try to remember it and get it to you, Q, so she can put it in the show notes. But it was really helpful for starting to organize stuff. So I think I've given a couple of them away to people to start to organize things. Yeah. So, okay. All All right, people. Y'all have a wonderful day. I so enjoyed this conversation today. I think it was a needed conversation.
Really good.
And I
really
think
good.
I haven't been listening to a lot of people lately, but I don't think I've heard anybody talk about alternative legacies. And I think that's what we kind of talked about today, kind of legacy from an alternative lens. And so I think this is a conversation that we probably need to keep having because there's so many women. I have a good amount of friends who are single who don't have kids.
Absolutely.
Or are single but maybe estranged for their kids for whatever reason. Or the kids are going to take over the business. And so really thinking about what that looks like for us. So, okay. Yeah. All right. I love you guys. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good one. Love you back. Bye-bye. Have a good one. See you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Audio Jungle.